Good evening. Jumping straight into it. It's 8 o'clock. And jumping straight into it. It's going to be a good night tonight. Get everything situated. We're at the 8 o'clock. We're going to be trading that 8 o'clock candle. And let's see what we see here. Just getting a few things configured on my end. But good evening, Judy. Good evening, Kamika. Let me know if you can hear me. Let's just do a microphone check. Can you hear me? All right, good. All right. Getting everything set up. Make sure you like and subscribe. And this is Evening Markets. And I'm glad you're here. All right. Let me grab some water. We got the charts open. We got the community here. We got Nikai. We got a skill set. It's going to be a good night. Say hi as you come in. And get everything situated. All right. Okay, I'm ready. 8 o'clock candle is open. So, Father, we thank you for tonight. We thank you for the skill set that you have given us. You have blessed our hands to be able to go into these markets and produce wealth. You are the one that gives us power to obtain wealth. So we acknowledge you tonight, knowing that those that are listening, the impartation of wisdom into these markets will saturate every arena of their life, that you will pour out, Lord, even more prosperity to your people to do an advanced kingdom. This is what we're here for, Father. So we want to acknowledge you in all of our ways, that you would direct our path. Bless this evening session. Bless those that come on. Let them let this time be fruitful. We redeem the time tonight that we declare that tonight will not be a wasteful night, that we will be productive. We will grow in wisdom. We'll grow in knowledge, and our bank accounts will grow in Jesus' name. So we declare it. It is so in Jesus' name. All right, tonight, as we get going, I got to set the backdrop for these night sessions and what's been going on throughout the week. We're at a critical area with Nikai. We're going to talk about this a little bit. Been playing around, trying to think of the level that I want to enter into buys. But what market has been doing, we have been selling off on dollar strength because of weak unemployment news. If you go to Forex Factory, you don't have to see it, but unemployment claims have been weak. NFP employment change has been weak. A lot of weakness, and all of that is precursors leading into tomorrow morning. NFP, what non-farm payroll is going to do. All right. So when we see dollars sell off, we do our 1-2 step. Our 1-2 step is to, if dollar sells, we will buy gold, we will buy indices. And that's been working. If you follow that formula, which we always do, that formula has been working for us. We've been prospering because of it all week. Indices have been buying, gold metals have been buying. And today, I wasn't on the morning call. I was in the chat, but a lot of the advancers in the community benefited off of that gold and silver trade. All right. And so that gold and silver trade is still kind of the bias that we're going into an uptrend. We're still expecting the buys tonight. And so we're not going to spend a lot of time going over the analysis. I probably will at slow markets. I probably will go over a little bit of the analysis because we'll have some time as the setup comes. But I just want to show you dollar strength because we're gonna kind of pivot our strategy tonight based on what the dollar does. All right, so we know that we're at a critical area. This has been a level of liquidity. We know that dollar has been selling off. It's in this downtrend. It's been coming down, and we know that we broke a level, and we've been consolidating here on this level. We're at the bottom of the range, and it's highly unlikely tonight that the dollar is going to break this range. You got to save that for NFP in the morning. I don't think it'll do that tonight. Let me grab some water. Don't think that it'll do that tonight. And so we may buy up. So let's see. I got a few targets that I want to hit tonight. But as this pushes up, we may get a little bit of retracement on Nikkei. We may get a little retracement on gold as it sits here, knowing that it probably wouldn't be. You got to wait for those New York firms to open up and for that U.S. session to really break a major level of structure. If you're not going to break it, even with this candle movement down, I don't think that the Asian session is going to do it. All right. So having said that, let's turn over to Nikkei. Right. And so let me just walk through this trade that we're going to do. And I'm going to do the same thing with gold on this gold trade. I think it will be good. We're going to answer questions. We're going to have a good time. If you have questions, let me know. And if you have anything to say, let's talk, because we're a community. We like to talk to each other. All right. Kamika says, I love these night sessions. I like them too. It's slow. It's something that I've been doing. I was like, why not bring the community on with it? I was like, I like these night sessions. It's something I go just look at it at 8 o'clock, look and see what the market is doing, and then go to bed. It's basically what happens. All right. So last week on Tuesday, what a difference a day will make. Tuesday, we had projections of this going way up here, which it did. But we had to suffer through the consolidation on Tuesday. All right. Let me enlarge my screen. I know you all don't complain, but I was in the live chat today and I was looking at it and I was like, I could barely see the screen. So I'm sure that you will say, I'm sure you're the same, that you can't really see the screen. So I just like to enlarge it like that. But last time we were on evening markets, we were in consolidation where price was just going up and down. And that up and down movement, even though we were going here, that up and down movement really didn't help us do anything that Tuesday evening market, right? And so good evening. As you come in, say good evening so I know that you're here. The power just went out as I was marking. Oh no. Well, hopefully the power comes back on, Kamika. I'll take a trade for you. How about that? I'll take the trade for you. I'll go double the size just to make up for the power going out. But no, seriously, I hope the power comes back on for you soon. All right, so this is what we were trading. That 8 o'clock hour, that 8 o'clock candle is right here. So last Tuesday, we were trading this this consolidated motion, which isn't fun. It happens on evening markets where you get consolidated motion. But then you go over to the following Wednesday, then it goes to our projected target. So sometimes you're going to get that where the movement doesn't happen during the evening. All right. So we're going to see if this is going to play out today. All right. If we're going to get the consolidation, and we're going to be patient tonight to make sure that we're not in consolidation before this takeoff happens. All right, so let me describe what we're looking at here. And if you have any questions, I see you all coming in. Good evening. I see everybody coming in. I got that to the left. So yeah, double the size. Yeah, good evening as you come in. Yeah, thanks for saying good evening. Let me know that you're with me, Corey, Judy, Brian, Paula, Dr. Lakeisha. Drawing in Hub. I don't know your name, so I'm just gonna call you Hub. We gotta come up with a nickname. Let me know what I gotta call you, so we can come up with a nickname for you, so you know I'm talking to you. Kamika's in the chat, watching us in the dark. So Priscilla, okay, all right. I'm not sure. I know a few Priscillas. I don't know if I know you or not, but so we won't call you Hub. We'll call you Priscilla. We'll call you by your name. Yeah, Ruben's here. Good evening. All right, good to see you. All right, so let's go through this analysis really quick. I'm just going to do a quick top-down analysis just to show you the setup that we're looking at. I'm going to get rid of all this stuff on the chart. We'll draw it out together. All right, so I'm on the and I want to just show you this top-down analysis. Even though we're going to be trading on the minute chart, I just want to show you the way that I look at it. And in our advancer community, we have different ways of looking at things, which is fine. I'm just going to show you the way I do it. So I mark out support, resistance, and right now we're resisting off of this key level. It was old support in the past. We broke down and we've been trying to bust above of this level in Nikkei. What's up, Terrace? How you doing? I'm excited about Terrace with new friends tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, I will be up. Fridays, I sleep in, but tomorrow, I'll be up for that. I got a flight tomorrow, but I'll be in and out, but hopefully we can make that work. Nedra's coming in the building. Tamisha's here. We got a full crowd in the evening market. Okay, so Nikkei, support. We've been resisting off this level. That's high level thinking, okay? So we jump down to the 8 hour. When we go to the 8 hour, and I'm not thinking about trades right now. I'm just looking at where structure is, right? And so we jump down to the 8 hour. I pull out the fib. You want to do these in these high volume weeks, all right? We talk about these areas where great things happen. Price has come to an area multiple times and great things have happened. So here it came and it produced a high. That's a great thing. Here it came again. Here it came again. What has happened before happened again. That type of thing. Think that kind of thing. We're still not taking a trade, right? We're just marking out levels at this point. We're not really thinking about trading. So we don't want to get ahead of it. So up here, you can see where I had a high level of past support. We broke through. We've been busting up against that and hit resistance. As I go down through the lower time frame, I may adjust that level because I'll see more detail. All right, this is just marking out resistance 101. So I'm going to move this up a little bit to capture where we've been wicking out. All right, and then you can also see this intermediate level that we've been on as well with Nikkei. All right, where great things have happened before. Like, would you have wanted to be in this buy? Yeah, you would have. So it happened multiple times where you would have wanted to been in the place where great things happen. You know, that used to be my vision board. I want to be in the place where great things happen. So think of it that way with your charting. Great things have happened here a lot of times. Here it broke through, became resistance, but then it came right back on top and became support. All right, so that gets us closer to price action, where we want to be. We know we have resistance right here, where we are retesting this old support, and we're getting these rejections here. And then when it comes down here, great things happen. And if it breaks through here, great things happen. All right, so we got kind of a range of where we want to be in the market right now. I haven't turned on any indicators, just looking at support and resistance. And from there, you can start to go down. And now it's time, once you get down to like the hour and different things, then you can start looking at your indicators. But there's no point in looking at your indicators this high up, because you're not going to be up all night to see these daily and 8-hour indicators play out. So why pay attention to those? Wait till you get market structure on the higher time frame so you know where you're at in space. All right. Another thing that I would see is this vertical or this horizontal piece that we're rejecting off of as well. It's acting as support here. All right. And so price is coming down to that. All right. It was resistance here, acted as support here. All right. So just know where you're at in space so that you have a few levels to play off of. We're not looking at indicators at this point. We're too high up to start looking at indicators. It's like I live in Minnesota. If I'm going to Florida, when I'm in the airplane, there's no sense in me turning on my GPS, right? Wait till I get on the ground, wait till I get in my car, then I can turn on the GPS and I can start to move. All right. That's the way I look at indicators. Don't turn them on right now. Just see where your support and structure is. Now let's go down to the hour. And the hour is where we want to start looking at our GPS, our indicators. All right. And so when you look at the hour on Nikkei, we're climbing, we're producing higher lows. Right. And so those higher lows are beginning to happen. And right now we have this double top. Right. And so this higher low that was here produced this double top. And then it came down. And what is it retesting? It's retesting the breakout of this range. That's currently where we're at in space. All right. That's what the hour is telling us. So now let's go down to the 15-minute and let's wait, because now what we're thinking is this retest could be support, right? And potentially produce a new high. And so if I'm thinking that way, what am I going to do? I'm going to pull out, let's go to the hour and do it. I want to pull out a fib. Fib will measure the retracement. All right. With the retracements, we can go low to high. But the way that I like to do it is if I go from here and push up, this is really a retracement, even though it's consolidation. So I go to the next level and reset. I could go up from here, but this is a retracement here. All right. And so that's where I want to pull it, is from the last retracement that happened. And we're going to pull that to the high side. Just measure where things are. And what you can see is this retest that's happening is on 78.6. What is the target in the chat? What is the target for 78.6? What's the target for 61.8? What's the target for 78.6 before it begins to retrace? Someone post that in the chat. All right, because we got to know that if we're going to be successful in mapping out where price is going. Right. So if 78.6 is a pullback, if we're in the buy and we produce a new high and it pulls back to 78.6, where will we go to first before we reject? 61, 21. No, the first target is going to be 23.6. Right. 23.6 is going to be your first target before you reject. It's going to push up, hit 23.6, and then it's going to pull back to 50 or 61.8 to retest the last high. That's right, Tamisha, 23.6 to the last high, and then it's going to push up again. So it's going to push up, hit that 23.6, pull back, retest the breakout, and then keep pushing and possibly tap here. So our target is, first of all, 23.6. Second target is going to be 0. Third target is going to be -27. All right, so that's what we're going to tonight. Now, when we start, we have direction right now, and let's just pull it below the lows. We have direction right now. That's what we want, just based on where our analysis is. All right, so now that you have that analysis, now you're going to look for opportunity. And opportunity, that's when we start going down to the lower time frames to see where the opportunity is. And there's a few ways that you can do this. We know that when price pushed down, it produced this shark fin on the 5-minute. All right, so everybody sees that. It produced a shark fin on the 5-minute, came back down, created divergence. This green candle here is what created that divergence and that last push down. So that we're going to mark that down as liquidity. That's number one. All right. There's a liquidity level there. We also are just going to mark out this lower time frame structure. And what we're seeing now is we want to catch this when the TDI on the lower time frames come low. So we have this that we know needs to be broken. And right now I don't like that liquidity zone just because we broke it so many times. So I'm going to get rid of it. All right. And we know we have this piece here, and we know ultimately 78.6 is going to be our bottom. All right. So that's the trade idea. And we're going to be patient enough to wait to enter this when the TDI gives us confirmation. So 3 minute, 2 minute, 1 minute are kind of consolidating. I think 1 minute is a nice place to enter. It'll show us when to get in on this. So when this 1 minute gets exhausted, we're going to take a buy position at that point, and then we're going to ride it up to the high. All right. So that's all we're going to do with this one. It's starting to come down now. We're looking at this 1 minute TDI, seeing if that's going to come down. How do I know I'm going to go that route? Well, price can only go up, 3 ways. It can go up, down, or sideways. How do we know which way it's going? If it goes up, it's going to produce higher lows and higher highs. If it's going down, it's going to produce lower lows and lower highs. If it's going sideways, it's going to range where it produces equal lows, equal highs, right? And so these are higher highs. This high, this low, higher lows. This low is higher than this low, or this low is higher than this low. This low is higher than that low. So which way is it going? It's going up. Until that's broken, we got to trust the structure. All right. And I do that on the higher time frames because the higher time frames is a little more trustworthy. All right. It's starting to come down. We produced a high up here. All right. And so now we come down and back to the trend line. So we're just waiting for this test to see what it does. As it comes down, we'll evaluate whether we want to take that. I'm going to put this alert here, and then I'm going to bring you over to gold really quick to show you how gold is setting up. All right. So for gold, let me take you out and go to a higher time frame. We know this has been selling off for a while here, or bullish for a while here. Through the night, that night candle last night was here, where it pushed up, then it retraced, and then this morning it pushed up again. All right, so gold is very tired and wants to push back down, right? And so we put our fib up on the last run because it's still bullish. Unemployment claims have been weak for the dollar. Gold is still bullish, and so we're just measuring the pullback. So we have our fib. We see the breakout here. We climbed on top of that breakout. We stayed on top of that breakout. All right, and this low to high has already played out. We already hit the profit target. So now we push the new low to high based on where it's retracing, where it's currently retracing. So we know that's the theme. This is really good structure. If you look on the hour here, it really looks good on the 15 minute when I was looking at it. Let's just get rid of this noise right here. All right, so if you look at that structure on the 15, this is how you know that which route it's going. Here's the low, here's a higher low, higher high, higher low, right? That was the retest that introduced this buy, that produced a high. Then it produced a low, which is like a 23.6 retracement. Then it produced a high. Now it's selling off, and you want to measure where it's selling off at. All right, and so we're going to pull this. We're going to go right through this because we're on the 15 minute and pull that and see now we're hitting the 23.6, and you just have to measure. You don't have to be ahead of it. You have to measure it to see what level is it getting rejection off of, and then you simultaneously watch the TDI as it comes down. That'll give you the indication of where the turnaround is going to be. You're still thinking upward movement, and you're trying to get into a cheap buy to the upside, right? So the 5 minute TDI is getting low. 3 minute is getting lower. 1 minute, shark fin divergence. We're starting to get some issues here. It's going to push down for further and create divergence. We saw here, this is where it wicked out. So what do? We say, oh, that may be an area of interest. Let's see what's pulling to the left of this. And sure enough, it's a liquidity grab that's happened before. So let's just pull that over. That could possibly be the entry. Pull your idea box to where you think it's going to be. You measure low to high. Right now I have my fib from low to the high. And so then you start looking at targets. Now this is not really a PRZ zone. We're not really looking at this level here, but we are looking for the buy. Where will it exhaust? It's been working all day, so it needs to rest. So now it's resting. It's getting that retracement before it continues its up run again. And so the TDI is going to tell us how low will it go before it goes to the upside. All right, and so that's what we're waiting on. We're waiting on that exhaustion, and we'll just keep moving our box down until it gets there, until it's exhausted. If you want to measure the 15-minute, and I wouldn't jump into the sales unless we were at the top. But if you want to measure that on the TDI and say, well, I'll just wait till the hour touch it, I can see why you would want to do that. That would be fine. Just not something I'm interested in at this moment. So gold is selling off. I just wanted to point that one out, but now I'm going to go over back to Nikkei, which is making its up run. And this is the trade that I want to be in tonight. All right, so we're going to go. Oh, I need some water after that. All right. So it touched the trend line again. That trend line is where great things happen. I'm not sure if anybody got in on that. I had an alert here. Not sure why the alert didn't go off, but that's a good place to enter into buys. All right. So I like this. I'm going to put it in one contract. I don't like one contract because you can't take one off if it goes your direction, but it's not risking a whole lot. So let's put one in. Risk 950. Nope, we're going to risk more than that. We're going to risk 1525 with one contract, and that's expensive. So you really got to decide if it's worth it. Is it worth it? And I don't think so, unless we do something like this. Then I think it'd be worth it. Getting in late is especially when it hasn't proven itself. We need to break above this, and it hasn't done that yet. But $600, I can live with $600. Then I'm gonna put a limit in. All right, let me put a market order in for one, please. Number one. All right. Okay, so we're in a trade, risking $600 tonight to make $1,000. So let's see what happens here. That's the trade. You saw the breakdown, and that's it. We'll let the trade run and see what it does. Risk 600 if it comes and produces a new low. And what's the? Let me shrink this down a little bit. All right, so not exactly a 1 to 2. It's a little less than that. We like to have 1 to 2, but I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that piece. Now, is this the bottom? I kind of want to pull below these wicks, and just because it may just spike down and touch this breakout here. We retested that breakout already. Oops. We retested this breakout. We broke out. So this was the retest over here. So not but it may just, we know that stops are down here, so it may just come down and try to take you out. You got to be careful with these slick moves. They try to take you out sometimes. All right, and we took our fib off, so let's bring the fib back. Trend line liquidity. Yeah, I will do that, Kamika. Let me just set this trade box. We're going to go to 0. That's the first thing that we're going to do. But I believe it may go a little further. It may go up there. Once it pushes up to 23.6, maybe even 38.2, what you can see is this left shoulder that's sitting right here, where we retested, came down, created. If this is a head, all right, like if we break up and hit 38.2, we may come down and use that as a retest. So, and then begin to come up. So we'll see on that, but we're going to let this trade play out. We got 600 at risk. Let's pull this. No, let's put 1,000 at risk. Pull that right below the head level and let this trade run. Okay. So trades in. Trades in. We're just letting this trade run, so I got time to answer some questions here. All right. So, so let me answer this question first. Can you explain a little bit about trend line and liquidity? All right. So trend lines aren't necessarily liquidity. When you think about liquidity, it's almost, and here we go with the analogies. You know, I love analogies. All right. So every time I say a word, a picture, a mental picture pops in my mind. But I look at liquidity as a gas station for the movement, right? And so price wants to push up, and but before it can push higher, it'll come down and grab liquidity. It'll make a stop at a gas station, and it'll fill up at that gas station. There's a lot of orders that wait at liquidity. If the move is going to happen, slow markets, it takes a while for the move to happen, but at liquidity is the fill up station, right? And so the car is filling up for the travel. So it pulls into takes a detour. It wants to go up. Then it takes a detour to the gas station, grabs liquidity or fuel for the journey, and then goes in the direction that it intended to go, right? There's a lot of manipulation around liquidity. It's kind of the same as support and resistance. You can find liquidity at support and resistance. You can find liquidity at on trend lines. It's places where price will react or reject off of, and there's a lot of different terminologies. You know, in our community, we like to say fair value gaps. People have fair value gap places, and those are places of liquidity. It's where orders are sitting in. If we had populated the DOM, which are orders, which you have it. If you're placing orders, you also have a DOM. All right. And so DOM shows you where orders are sitting. It's not populating a huge amount of orders. We don't have access to that, or I haven't subscribed to a lot of access with the DOM, but it'll show you where orders are sitting. So the DOM will show you where those orders are. Fair value gaps will show you where those orders are. Support and resistance will show you where those orders are. Trend lines will show you where those orders are. There's a lot of different places that show you where those orders are sitting that will grab liquidity for the journey or fuel for the journey. All right. And so if you find that on, and really it's just confluence, if you find that on support and resistance that so happens to be a trend line, that is a high probability place where orders could be grabbed. The way I like to identify liquidity myself is that I like to look for the manipulation, and the manipulation tails on itself. It's actually it's interesting, and I hope you get. Let me turn down the music because now we're starting to get revelation. It's starting to come to me. It's sort of like the way I study the Bible. The best place to find revelation in the Bible is where you're going to find controversy and manipulation. It will be God will say, I want you to do this and don't do it. For instance, God told, I'm just going off on a tangent here. It's evening market. All right, God told he gave in the law of Moses, it says you shall worship no other God but me. You shall bow to no other God. You shall serve the Lord your God. Him alone you shall serve. Everybody knows that. But here's Joshua standing on a mountain, getting ready to go into war. And all of a sudden, he sees a man, and he bows to the man. And you don't hear, the Bible says it's the angel of the Lord. And you don't hear the rebuke of the Lord or of the angel say, you're not supposed to bow to me. You're only supposed to bow to God. There was no rebuke from the angel. We've seen that before with angels that says, do not worship me, worship God. And we see that in the Bible. So that's controversy. Why? How is Joshua bowing to this angel and not being rebuked by the angel for bowing? And so that controversy creates revelation. It's called an epiphany. He sees God, a man that sees God. It says, no one can see God but live, right? But here is Joshua bowing to an angel, and he's living. And it's God, and he's living. So how is that? And so that controversy that's created also creates revelation of where what is happening during that period of time. All right. Okay, so take that and bring it over to the charts. If you find controversy and occurring that's against what's currently happening, that's your revelation that price is getting ready to pivot in the opposite direction. All right. And so that's the way that I like to find sniper type entries. So most people would be distracted that price is selling down this way, right? And I'm looking for buys. Well, why would I look for buys when price is selling off? Well, look for the controversy, right? Look for the manipulation. Look for where price is trying to push down to in the opposite direction, but failing to do it. It's controversy. So let's try to spot it. If I'm on the 5 minute, and usually what we try to do is we try to find the manipulation through these gap orders. So for instance, in this one, Nika, I don't see it right away. So let's go over to another one. Let's look at this one on gold. So gold has been pushing up all day. Everyone's aware that gold has been pushing up. And so this candle right here begins to push up. Well, that's going to induce everybody's going to say, yeah, that's the place that price should push up, right? And so that's controversy, that price didn't push up there. It pushed down, right? And so when it pushed down, it created a new low. And I'm going to pull this over just so you can see it. Where are you at? Here you are. All right. This is a replay tool. All right. So at this point, you have buyers that say it's going to push up. All right. So it doesn't. It pushes down. That moves really fast. That moved really fast. Let me see. Let me go back to it. All right, now we'll let it play. All right, so right there, we'll stop it right there. Right, and so, and it happened. All right, we'll stop it right here. All right, so price failed. It didn't push up. It gave you a long wick and pushed down. That is controversy. In your mind, you're thinking that it's going to go up. That's called manipulation. That's controversy. What you can do is you can grab the red candle that is producing the low, that produced the high. Grab the red candle, the opposite candle of the manipulation, and stretch that forward. That's going to be your liquidity zone, right? So price pushed up. It was controversy. Everybody thought it was going up. It didn't make it all the way up there. It started to push down, and we know that this is this candle is going to go crazy. And so you grab that red candle, and that's liquidity. That becomes your test place. That if it passes that red candle and retest, that's your place of retest. That's the revelation that price is going to do its thing. So then you have a break of that red candle right there of that liquidity. That's your entry in. That red candle's engulfing. It tells you that price is falling. And then you allow the price to fall from that point. Right. And so that manipulation brings about revelation when you get to understand how price manipulates and pushes in the opposite direction. Yeah, the failed auctions, that's a great term for it. It's often used, are failed auctions. This should auction to the upside. Buyers are coming in. It's been pumping all day. 2,400 is the psychological level that it should hit. And I still believe it's going to hit. I kind of want to be in buys up to 2,400. That's what this says, buys up to 2,400. So I kind of want to be in there. I think it's going to be lower entry. But it's a failed upside auction. So it brings in the sellers through manipulation, then it sells down. If you get good at recognizing that, it's revelation. It should be revelation for you that, oh, something is happening. There's a pivot here. Something is taking place. All right, let's look at this trade here. That's starting to come down into this liquidity on Nikkei. So let's pay attention to what Nikkei is doing. And I know I was kind of long-winded on that. Hopefully I answered your question on liquidity and how to find liquidity. It's a very broad answer because there's a lot of different ways to find liquidity. And liquidity has a lot of different terminology that people use. All right, so the first thing here, we know this has been support before. So we got to watch and start thinking that if this breaks, you really have two levels. You have that trend line, and then you have this trend line here, or not trend line, but this last support, lower high here. So this would be a great place to start thinking about getting a second entry into this if you took it at the top. But really, this neckline needs to break. All right. So, and then we're pulled below this last liquidity. We did a top-down analysis. So that is those levels have already been marked out. So let's just see. All right, let's see what price is doing. All right, and this is something that if you have questions, just ask them. This is stuff that I don't watch. It's like I posted on Instagram when I was down. I think at the bottom I was down like 2,400. And I didn't watch it. I wanted to record it because I kind of knew what was going to happen. But I put the recorder, I got a screen recorder. So I recorded it. I walked away. And then I came back like 2 hours later and it was up like 2,000. And so these kind of moves I really don't watch. I just mark out. It's one good trade at a time. I don't base my trade on how my drawdown is doing. I kind of married $1,000 loss that my account could suffer $1,000 loss tonight. So kind of married to that $1,000 loss. But I trust my analysis. So I really don't stay around for the drawdown. You know, once it starts drawing down, I just trust the analysis And if something falls out, then it was a good analysis. Everyone's seen how I went from the day, actually looked at the week, went to the day, went to the 8 hour, went to the 4 hour, and started working myself down and saying, I think this level is going to hold just based on where good stuff happened in the past. So I'm kind of married to the $1,000 loss, and I really don't worry about the drawdown. People that are new pay attention to this. They're like, oh, I don't want to lose $500. And that can mess with your psychology. If you're basing your analysis on how much you're losing, you're not going to be a good trader, right? Your trades have to be on your strategy. Do you trust your strategy or not? And then you just let the strategy play out. And if you lose, sometimes the strategy won't work, and other times it will. And if you lose on that trade, it was just a lost trade. Go make another trade on the same analysis, or go find an analysis that you trust. All right, but give it an opportunity to play out. If it keeps not playing out, then reevaluate and backtest why these are not playing out. All right, and once you've developed that confidence in the trade, then it'll be good. It'll be good for you. All right. So hopefully we don't get one of those nights that we had here where we start to consolidate sideways. That's the way it's starting to look, is that we're consolidating sideways. And usually when consolidation, and let me just say this, the way the market moves is it has intention of where it wants to go, but it will plan for it first. And so there's phases of it. It will make the move, and then it will make a distribution move. So this was consolidation. This was accumulation for the move. This move down was manipulation, right? So you have a manipulation move to the downside that produced a higher low, right? Structure wasn't broke on the higher time frames. It just produced a higher low. So this is manipulation. These investors know that that this wasn't going to fall out. They just wanted to manipulate. Then when they were ready, they did accumulation, where they start accumulating orders in this consolidation. And then the next phase is distribution, where it goes to the intended target. So how do you go from here to here? Well, you need to induce sellers. So they sold off, accumulated orders, and then distributed and came up to the top, right? And so that's what I see. The same thing happening right now is that all of this is manipulation. This is accumulation, and now we're getting ready to distribute to the top, right? And so that's the way I'm looking at it. I could be wrong. It could just fall out, right? And I could just be wrong. And you just got to let go of your ego and say, hey, I was wrong on that one, but it was a good analysis. And for a lot of different reasons, right here, this is just telling you that the level that we're on right now is, you see this up move, manipulation, accumulation, distribution. Manipulation, accumulation, distribution. Right. And so that's the way it looks to me. So we're just letting this play out. All right. Isn't it going too much against you for this trade? Well, it depends on what you say is too much. All right. And so how much is too much? Right. If you're a few things. It depends on your win rate, and it depends on your risk reward, right? And so a lot of individuals have played this game with me, but if you do the game yourself, if you just say, I'm going to toss a coin 10 times. If I lose $100. If I win $200. I think the statistic is you only have to be right like 2 or 3 times to be profitable in that scenario. right? So when you think about how much is too much, it's according to what your risk management is, right? So is to me, $1,000 isn't too much. 4,000 isn't too much, especially when you see me post a $8,000 trade one day, a $7,000 trade the next day, $6,000 trade, and then you see me lose 4,000 and then lose 1,000. Right? In the grand scheme of thing, if you count over 30 days, am I profitable or am I not profitable? Right? And you have to figure that out according to your cash flow, how much is too much. But think of it as a business. Like I'm fine with risking 1,000 to on this trade to make 2,000. I'm fine with that. And I only have one contract, so I'm low risk. I'm actually looking to stack in and get in, probably add 2 or 3 more contracts down at this level. That's why I took only one contract up here. So it's all a part of your risk management plan. The way that you just explained this sounds like a life lesson for me. It may look like a low, but it's just manipulation, and pay attention to the higher time frame. Yeah, that's the way you have. There's wisdom in life that applies to all areas of life. That God type wisdom, you can apply it anywhere. You can bring that into a business. You can bring that in a lot of different places. But it's just the way that things flow. That if you abandoned, here's another life lesson. If you abandon your digging of a well, if you abandon it too early, you'll miss the opportunity. You'll miss the move, right? Same thing with these trades. If we abandon these just because we're in drawdown and then it goes in our direction, you'll miss the trade. Most people cut their profits short and let their losses run. That's the wrong equation. You want to stack in and let the winners run and then cut your losses short, right? And so that's why $1,000 loss, we'll cut that at $1,000, but we'll let the trade run up to 1,000 or 2,000 and probably even further than that if it holds. So, you got to develop that kind of mindset of longevity. And, it doesn't, like, once you get the skill of trading, it's a skill that's with you forever. You know how the markets move. You're not intimidated. It's sort of like, here's another analogy. It's sort of like knowing, I used to box in high school. And do you know when you know how to box that you fight less? That things don't intimidate you as much because you know how to defend yourself. You know how to do offensive encounters. And so you're less intimidated when things come against you, right? Because and it's the same thing with trading. If you know the skill, you're less intimidated when price goes against you because your skill knows exactly what it's doing. All right. So that's something to do. I think we got accumulation tonight. I think we got a night that looks like this. I think it looks like accumulation. It may push lower here. And if it does, okay. I have no power against trillions of dollars that's in the market. If it does, it does. But to me, it looks like accumulation. I think this levels has potential to produce a high. It has before. So I think it will again. If it doesn't, our stop is down here. It'll cancel out all these orders. But we're going to let this trade run. Tim says, how long have you been trading? I've been trading for 4 years now. I think the better question is, how long have you been profitable? Because it goes through, and it's really been it's really been I look at trading as a journey. So most people come in, they see the money, they see people make money, and I'm not going to put a timetable to it. It was that first, like, I got paid out from a prop firm within, I think, 2 or 3 months. My first payout was $27,000. I got paid out from top tier with I learned the skill. It immediately moved into a challenge. got my first payout was 27,000, and then I immediately blew that account, and then started blowing accounts. Then got another payout, started blowing accounts. So that first year was really inconsistency. And I think that when I look back on it, my first year was really about proficiency. It was just learning the skill, and I didn't know what I didn't know. Didn't go through all of the cycles of the ocean. Like, I got on a good wave, and I thought I knew how to trade, and I didn't know how things change. We're in June, and I didn't know that February markets are completely different than June. And then we're going to go into holiday season. We're going to go in that summer season, that summer lull. We're going to go into holiday season in November. Markets trade a little different. We're going to go into December rallies, trying to get quarterly earnings for the end of the month. And so things change, and I didn't know that. And so I thought I was doing well for a month, and then all of a sudden everything changed. I started losing. My strategies didn't work. And so that first year is really about proficiency. You got to gain the experience. You got to get the experience. You got to get that emotional control. That's proficiency. That second year for me, and I'll just say phase 2. I don't want to put a time limit on you, because it may be months for you. It was years for me. It may just be months for you. So I don't want to put it. So let's just say the second stage is consistency. You move from proficiency, where you're learning it, then you move into consistency. And consistency is where you can consistently make good trades, not blow accounts. That's really what you're working through that second phase. And then that third phase is really profitability. And so after I went through the proficiency, after I went through the consistency, then I started hitting profitability. And that was really, for me, it was like, it took me about 2.5 years to 3 years. And then, so for like the last year and a half is really been my most profitable year of just consistently month after month tracking it, that I'm making gains. And then also along those lines, developing character, developing psychology to be able to handle the ups and the downs, not thinking too much of yourself. It's like I've been there where you're posting, oh, I won this, and then the next week you blow it all, and then you go quiet, and so you'll learn that, where people will be very vocal, and then all of a sudden you don't hear from them for a couple months. It's like, okay, well, what happened? And it's like, well, you got to learn how to be consistent with your character, your personality, your behavior, while your account is going up and down, those ebb and flows, right? And be able to carry it on. So, it's a journey, and anything that you want to do that's great in life is going to be a journey. Like it will be a journey, but if you stick with it, you will get there. You will get to a point where you're able to pull thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars out of the market. You'll be able to pull that out of the market with no problem, and money won't be an issue for it, because you've made the leap to go through all the stages to develop yourself to a point where money will never be a problem for you or your children or your children's children ever again in life, right? And so for me, it's worth that sacrifice to go through those phases, develop yourself until you get to a point where you're able to manage and steward the millions that God has prepared for you. Yeah, that's right, Nick. Phase 2 will test you. And really, the test never stops. If at any given point in time, the ocean can overtake you. You could be a skilled salesman, but if you start acting a fool in the ocean, it will overtake you. And so at all times, I look at it like this. We're almost at the 9 o'clock hour, but look at it like this. We've been talking in our devotions about driving a lot, and managing it. And the Lord began to talk to me about speeding. And he said, look at it like this, Tim. He said, look at it as if you can't control your speed and obey a law on the road, then how are you able to obey the law of discipline in other areas of your life if you have no management of the ability to control how much speed your car goes? Right? We know it's for your safety and whatnot, and you speed, and there's nothing wrong with that and stuff. I still speed and whatnot. But then you come over to the charts and you want to be disciplined. Well, you just worked a muscle where you're disobeying laws. You're lying on taxes. You're lying to your friends. You're speeding and breaking laws. But then you come on the chart for 5 minutes and you think that you're going to have the discipline to obey your rules and your laws, right? And it's a message there in how you work, how you exercise the muscle of discipline. The muscle of discipline just doesn't come when you come to the chart. It comes in your everyday life. If you're not exercising it in every arena of your life, then the 5 minutes that you spend on the chart really isn't going to matter. It's not big enough to all of a sudden I'm going to be disciplined. Spend the week, just practice that. Spend the week just saying, whether it's your exercise, I'm going to exercise 1 hour a day and be disciplined. I'm going to pray an hour a day. Be disciplined with that. I'm going to eat, 1,500 calories a day. Be disciplined with that. I'm not going to go more than 5 miles over the speed limit. Be disciplined with that. I'm not going to tell a lie this week. Be disciplined with that. All week, you're exercising your discipline muscle. So when you come to the charts, it's already in you that I'm disciplined. These are the rules. We're not gonna negate those rules. So I'm gonna be disciplined. And I see that when individuals are undisciplined off the charts, then they're going to be disciplined on the charts as well. All right, so that was a lot tonight. This trade still looks good. I still like it. There's a lot of divergence that's being created. I'm going to let it run. We need a movement. It's right now. It's on this liquidity zone, but we're out of time today. But this has been a good segment. Hopefully, we've grown. And these were some really good questions, and I'm really excited. I'm going to turn you loose because I'm really excited about tomorrow morning, Terrace and New Friends, because in this industry, everybody tries to be a guru, and no one wants to admit that I failed before. I blew through a lot of challenges. I was undisciplined. I was doing all this stuff, and so I think tomorrow it'll be good to see new traders. Because we live in a social media world where everybody wants to show their best side, and that's not trading. There's even I go through some ups and downs with my trading where I have to reset and I have to do different things. So it's going to be good to have new traders share your experience, because there's other traders looking at you saying, "Oh, I go through the same thing," and without knowing that, you will give up. Not knowing that this is normal and this is part of the process. So hopefully that helps you out tonight. I'm going to hold on to this trade. We'll see in the morning. I'm not going to touch it. We'll see in the morning what it does. It's barely hanging on by a thread, but we'll see. I think it's a good setup. I like it. I'm just going to continue to make analysis according to the strategy and let that play out. Sometimes it'll work, sometimes it won't. And I'm fine with that. I've had some good days and I had some bad days, but overall, God has been good in it, and He will make us prosper. So yeah, great questions tonight. Glad to see everybody on here. I know I was talking a lot, but I hope I help somebody. Just keep pushing, keep showing up, and this is going to produce fruit for you. I really believe that. This will produce fruit for you. It may not seem like it sometimes, but this will produce fruit for you. Yeah, just keep at it. Don't give up. Keep refining. You'll be a better person because of it. And you'll be one that's able to handle the story. If you can survive this level, if you can get the first million and work yourself through the first million, that second, third, fourth million will be easy. Yeah. All right, everyone. Yeah, that's right, Judy. Hit like, share it, rewatch it, share it with everyone. I'm glad this helped you. We'll let this trade run. I may post this on our IG page, but make sure you're on tomorrow, 7 o'clock Central, for Terrace and New Friends. All right, everyone, have a good one, and we will see you in the morning.